What's the hardest part about getting this act together in what? Is it a week?
5 days.
5 days.
Not full days either, like
No.
5 hours.
Wow. So what, I mean, obviously there's a lot of challenges, but what's the hardest thing to work on?
Not knowing what you're gonna get, I think.
Right.
You think you know what you're going to get, and then when you get there, you're getting something totally different because they sent the representative to the audition.
Oh,
it's a whole
no.
different person. you get there.
Yeah, you don't know. We get a little intel on every team. We see their audition tape, and we get a little documentation on their background, but you don't know what you have until you start, digging in and working with them. And sometimes they surprise you, and sometimes you freak out.
Get devastated.
3 o'clock in the morning. I have to revoice the whole number. We only have 5 more hours. Yeah, it's dealing with their nerves once you get there, I find. Because you do get intel on them, but then you get there and they're nervous. And not only do they have to sing, but all of a sudden they have to dance as well.
Right.
So,
Which, I'm the only choreography representative here, but usually most people have had a little experience singing.
Right.
But the majority of the individuals that Kelly and I have to work with have never danced before.
Right.
So they're usually not so afraid of this group, they're really afraid of us. So the dance realm is tough because you're dealing with total novices.
Of course.
And, we're starting from square one.
It's entertaining. That part, it's entertaining for me. I love that. I get nervous on day 4 or day 5 when I see the dancing knots come together, but that's a stress relief for me. Is like I'm so challenged by trying to get them to sing and harmonize. That those moments where Christian or Kelly have them to whip them up into shape, movement wise. That's a moment of sit back and that's the same thing.
It is a little bit. The thing that I find weird too is because they all have seen Canadian Idol and American Idol, they think they can sing when sometimes they really can't sing at all. And you're singing a note to them. That's the big joke. You're going, this is your note, and they're going, okay, I'm singing with you. You're going, no, this is your note. They said I'm singing the same note. No, if we sing together, you can tell.
That's amazing. I would love to be a fly on the wall, I think, at some points when I see the show and see how it goes. And what we're not seeing, I guess, but...
You're not seeing...
It's dynamic.
You get the best part.
Yeah, you get the best part. You do get... I mean, there's parts that are truncated which you wish that they showed more so they understand why you got to that point of frustration.
Right.
But you're like, but I look back, but you didn't see why. The eruption of what caused it. I think, it's funny because there's certain things as, professionals we're accustomed to in the rehearsal room where you don't talk when someone is speaking or if you're doing a movement or you're singing, they should be singing with you, and it's just certain etiquette that you have to remember that these are everyday people that are not used to rehearsing.
Right.
So, after going through it, and there's certain things that just aren't met.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, it's not just teaching them to sing, but it's teaching them how to be directed. So you can teach them how to sing and dance.
Wow.
You don't know to not come back like the next day in our business. If you learn something and you come back the next day and you don't know it, then you're fired.
Right.
Sometimes on Canada Sings, when they come back the next day and they don't know it, they get in trouble.
Yeah. We have to remember that they're working their jobs often. They're
exactly.
But on the bright side,
8-hour shift somewhere, and they come to us. They're already exhausted.
Yeah.
So I mean, overall, they have the bigger challenge. But for us, I mean, it's a lot of pressure.
They do.
It's tremendous.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Responsibility and pressure to try and make this happen.
They never say no. That's the one thing I always find really amazing because artists will sometimes in rehearsal they'll be like, "Can you do this?" and they'll say no. These guys are like, "Can you do this?" and they'll go, "Mm-hmm." Will you do this? And you're like, "Oh my God, they will never say no." It's amazing.
There's always a progression. Like day 1, they're always, "Yay, we're excited to be here." Day 2 happens, and they're like, "Yeah, this is fun." Day 3 is, Day 4 is, we're getting it, and then like day 5, we love it. So there's a definite. This show is truly reality. I mean, because it's real,
sure.
and it's honest, and they all have the same progression. Yeah, that's it. That's kind of
exactly it. It's exactly it. And you think it's going to be different every week, and you get to day 3 and go like this. Look at them weeping over in the corner. We have to go help them out.
Now it's coming. You can almost time it.
I know.
That's amazing.
We aren't. I will have to say that in watching us on TV, you don't realize we are a little intense because I've seen some pictures of me and I see some video footage of me. And I'm like, wow. I guess I'd be scared of me too. You know, it's. I mean, we're serious about our craft. We want them to be serious.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, I think one of the greatest things about this show is that you see the hard work. You see how far they've come, and then there's this new camaraderie within the workplace, and you realize how they're doing it for the right reason. And whether they win or lose, each team wins because they're bringing light to a charity that maybe all of Canada was not aware of.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all about the charity in the end.
Yeah. And you know, we know now, you know, coming into season 2, we know what they have to gain or what they have to lose. You know, and we really get invested in our groups. You know,
Really
we
do.
want to see them individually succeed and certainly collectively succeed. And you know, and Kelly and I take great pride in watching the creations that Sharron and Christian come up with and their teams, and it's really like, because we know how hard it is, and nobody really understands.
No.
For Kelly and I, we just operate in this little bubble, as do Sharron and Christian, and we operate in isolation, except for one little sneak peek that we get to see of each other's rehearsal process. But for the most part, we work in isolation, and so when we see their number on the stage, we're always blown away. We know how hard it is.
I know.
And it's so fun for us to see what they come up with, but yeah, no matter who it is in every team, we just love seeing them succeed. And you know, sometimes it's, you know, we always want their charity to win. We always get invested in the charities because we learn about the charities and the great work that some of these charities do across the nation. But we just, I think more than anything, we just love seeing them hit the stage and just be stars for a day and fight for something that they believe in. And it's so rewarding. It's really incredibly rewarding.
It's one of the best jobs in the world.
Just doing music. Yeah, it really is a dream job.
I don't think what people get either is how these people who 90% of them have never sung in front of an audience or danced in front of an audience are doing a professional routine. We don't dumb it down. I mean, if there's a point when they're not singing at the harmonies as well as they could be, there are moments when you're like, I'm going to take the path of least resistance and go unison. But they are dancing and singing a professional routine. And they've never done it before, and they do it in 5 days. I don't think you can ever really tell people how hard they work, hard they work.
Because the majority of individuals that we know that are professionals, that are singing and dancing, are not doing it. They're not really doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And on this show, we are making them sing and dance. We're making them sing and move. You know, and the majority of major artists have a track playing. So we are asking a lot of them, and
they have no help.
But the great thing about it is that they don't know that they shouldn't be able to do it.
That naivety is...
They think that if we tell them that they should be able to do it.
Yeah. That naivety works to our advantage, for sure. I did, though, I don't know if you guys saw this year, and it was just in a few cases, but you know, last year I think everybody really didn't know how it was all going to come together, and we did encounter the occasional person this season that they knew somehow it was all going to happen. And you know, we weren't naive coming into this season. We know how difficult it was, and I think certainly Kelly and I were just like business. You know, it was business, and for the most part, all the contestants they come in and they work really hard. But we did encounter a couple people that were like, we know make us stars. It's all gonna happen, right? Yes.
Alright.
You are the ones
Oh my
that have
God.
to do it. You have to do it. You're the ones that are stepping on that stage.
Wow.
No,
I don't think.
I'm trying to think.
We
We had
did-
some laughs. We had a couple of laughs.
Maybe last
Yeah.
year.
They were like, oh, well, this is TV, so it's all going to work out. I'm like, well, like, fairy princesses are coming out to go, hey, you can sing and then you
were
can
on
dance.
stage, yes.
In the end, we're sitting in the audience, and you're the one in front of the camera, and if you're not working it out.
And I
And they get to that point where they realize that.
Yeah, they're like,
Absolutely.
oh, when they walk on the stage, and they look at the house, and like this, oh my God, this is really happening.
I think in one of the, someone came up to me and after they saw the show and they were commenting on some of the numbers, and I think sometimes, and I'm going to give credit to the teams and also to our contestants on the show, we almost make it look too easy.
Right.
Because I've heard, well, they do that, and I had to explain to them, no, they don't. These are not dancers.
Exactly.
This group of individuals, they are not dancers.
Right.
They were worked to the point where we made you think that these
they're
people could
dancers.
dance, but they were not.
Right.
And so I think there are a lot of times where, especially on television, I really, as much as we try and make these episodes show how far they've come, I really don't ever think, unless you're in the room, you can really understand what is happening. It is truly magic what's going on.
Right.
Over the past 2 seasons, we've figured out a way on each team to really get this much done in this amount of time.
Every second
And
counts.
it
They're
works.
all in the
right.
moment.
Yeah.
Because you can
That's
tell when they're not in the moment. They can have the best
Yeah.
routine, they can have the best mashup, and if they
That's
are
absolutely it.
just not in the moment, you kind of just go, you can feel it.
You're like,
Right.
And you're going, oh no, they had everything. Nerves, it can be anything. Like these
Right.
guys have not
Yeah.
performed in front of a live audience before. But the funny thing
That's a
is,
huge challenge for us as
Yeah.
well, is to get them to peak right at the right moment.
so true.
Right.
And that's an enormous challenge in itself. It's managing the psychology of a team that has very different characters within it, and it's something we pay very close attention to. We don't always get the chemistry right, but when it happens, it's pretty magical.
But we know that we have to go backstage. The funny thing is that we learned this year,
Yeah.
and I think we have to go backstage the moment before they perform to remind them, because they start standing backstage and it's huge back there.
Right.
They start feeling dwarfed by the entire experience, and we're their touchstone. So we have to go backstage and go, you guys remember, you can do this, you can totally do this, and then you kind of see them get buoyed. But last year we didn't know how to do that, and this year I think we have a better idea.
Well, the one thing I'd love to know is who won from last year? Who had more wins from the last
Last year?
season?
Last year was entirely
We tied last year.
Really?
We did.
Just the way it worked out.
Wow. So this is kind of maybe the tiebreaker this year.
It might be. I
Okay.
don't know.
Don't look at it that way.
You have to
it's team versus team every week.
Yeah, of course.
And
You have different materials to work with every week, so you never know what's going to happen.
and we know, I know, hands down, Canada will be the ultimate judge. Like, everybody who watches the show will they're gonna have their favorites and they're gonna decide. And it may translate different on TV than it did in the theater.
Right.
They may, people may say those judges are totally off base. People across the nation now will get invested in different teams, and that's going to be exciting for
That's
us
gonna
as
be
well.
interesting.
We, it's not a. I mean, it is competitive between us, but
Of course.
it really is not about us.
No.
It is
And,
But it's about them. Sorry.
Yeah, that's.
At the end, it's about them. They come off stage. And I remember a lot of our teams were standing backstage, and they honestly, without a shred of they said, you know what, Sharron, we already feel like we've won. And I'm like, this really? And it's just so beautiful
amazing.
because you know that it's so hard for them, and they are competitive, and we are competitive, but they're like, you know what, we feel like we've already won. And I can guarantee when Canada watches, there won't be one routine that they go, well, that wasn't fun or entertaining.
That's right.
Like every single one, I was like, wow, that
For
turned
sure.
out. Wow, this turned out. Wow.
Yeah.
So I think every week is going to be exciting.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much. Definitely a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.